Then there was this one, then the next award goes to so and so from this industries, and I could see that guy coming, walking very slowly. I said, sir, come on, run, sir, come on. What are you doing? Buck up, bhago, sir, you have feet. And he came, he was like paralyzed. And these guys, these boys, naughty boys, decided to play hide and seek. And honestly, while I was performing, they used me as a pillar. Pillar नहीं था तो मैं जो है देख रहे मोटे. And that kid, while I'm performing, is behind me like 1, 2, 3. I kid you not. You just go home, just go up to your room,
That's
drink.
it.
As I would say, chup chap. Cut it, please cut this.
Nothing is getting cut.
One of those guys who's typing, then just disappears. गुस्सा.
बहुत गुस्सा आता है ना ऐसे करके.
सोचिए इस टाइपिंग में बैठ रहा हूँ कर and then just
suddenly
vanishes.
one word he or she replies. Like अपना type करने के बाद.
Is this okay? This is okay. Can I sit like this?
जैसे भी however you're comfortable.
नहीं मैं खाली देख रहा हूँ किस तरह, because now if I thought he's going to sit there, तो then now अगर ऐसा होगा तो फिर ऐसे बैठेंगे.
हाँ.
और तुमको फ्रेम भी चेंज करना है, देख लो अगर या फ्रेम बराबर. और कुछ क्रीज री शर्ट वर्ट देखो आपको कैप फ्रेम में एवरीथिंग इज ओके. नो जस्ट
एकदम चकाचक लग रहा है.
नहीं जस्ट कभी क्या होता है दैट ऐसे वो कुछ गंदा क्रीज होता है, देन थ्रू आउट द वो व्हेन यू वाचिंग इट लेटर ऑन देन सम ऑफ अस ओसी आता है ये. चलो ठीक है, विल कीप इट इंग्लिश रखते हैं. चलो ठीक है.
तो सबसे पहले तो आई वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड फ्रॉम यू because we don't want to repeat conversations at all.
Yeah.
ठीक है.
थोड़ा बहुत कर सकते हैं just to get the context to people who don't know me. हाँ.
कौन है ऐसे लोग?
हमने बहुत जाना. बहुत जाना.
So we'll talk about obviously comedy and
Sure.
we'll talk about performing in corporates as well as non-corporates.
हाँ.
And we'll also talk about performing in India and abroad.
Okay.
So
Great.
all of that.
Sure.
And of course some fillers here and there which I might have.
Go for it.
So the Janta already has seen. It's already rolling. We have Mr. Atul Khatri with us on the chill hour. Editor को बोलेंगे थोड़ा drum rolls लगा दे so that it ramps up. But how are you doing?
All good. Thank you so much.
What do I call you? Atul sir?
अरे अतुल यार क्या अतुल sir? हाँ.
आपको ऐसा
अब तक नाइटहुड नहीं मिला है मुझे. You can't call me अतुल sir. अभी अतुल ही हूँ मैं.
But how are things with you? What's happening?
All good. Thank you so much. It's good. It's been 2023 has been a year of travel for me. I've been so क्या था, typically you write a show, you take it across India, then you want to take it globally. So this 2023 was a year of the global thing. So I did many countries. I was 1 month in the US, then close to 40 days in Europe, and फिर अब मैं अभी ऑस्ट्रेलिया और न्यूजीलैंड से just last week आया हूँ shows करके.
lovely.
And then बीच में you do Singapore, Dubai, Hong Kong, Manila, ये सब कर लिया है अभी. So this my show Daddy Cool, like I was taking it across the world this year. So yeah, अब खत्म हुआ है वो.
So now what's
so now
in
you
store?
obviously as you start writing new material, then you start practicing it, and you'll take it to India, and then all over India and then again probably in 2025 शायद inshallah I'll go again to have a global tour. Yeah.
Sweet. How does tell us something about foreign tours?
Oh, it's good. It's very good. So people who love to travel like me, like all of us love to travel. So one is the travel aspect of it. But क्या है, मैं US काफ़ी जा चुका हूँ, तो अभी वो excitement of क्या मैं अमेरिका वो नहीं है अभी. Now the thing is to go and work there, and typically, I mean you want to. I mean I am a guy, मेरे को कीड़ा है कि I want to work every day. कुछ ना कुछ होना चाहिए. You know, I can't be sitting and twiddling my thumbs. You know. तो so I like to, so when I'm abroad also मुझे कुछ ना कुछ करने को होता है. So I tell my promoter कि कुछ let me go and meet some students in some college. The Indian students who are studying in a college. I don't mind interacting with them, talking to them. You know, many of them would want to know about the stand-up comedy scene in India.
Right.
So I love to do all those things. कब होता है कब नहीं होता है. But otherwise always traveling abroad is always good, and the audiences abroad are so warm. You know.
So do you perform in Hindi, English?
So my set is I would say mainly English.
Okay.
थोड़ी बहुत हिंदी में इधर उधर करता हूँ. Because क्या है जो वहाँ के NRIs है, they want a little bit more Hindi. But if I see like a lot of goras in the audience, I'm okay with it, because then I can do
What's
my
the percentage split?
In my set, I would say actually it will be 80-20.
Okay.
80-20, but it's very simple English. But if you're studying abroad, if you're living abroad, you know that English basically. Even in
Right.
India, everybody understands. I have performed in small cities and all that. I never had problem of converting my set. के लोगों को समझ में नहीं आ रहा मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, वैसा नहीं होता है. You know.
हिंदी में वैसा होता है? If you're performing in South, do you have to, or your sets are majorly in English? So
My sets are mainly in English, so people in south of India, you mean, they also love me.
South of India.
So I get a great audience in Bangalore, in Chennai, Coimbatore, also the other states in Kerala and all, because my set is mainly in English. So I think in English, I write in English. और actually क्या था ना, थोड़ा I'll go back in history since we are talking about this English Hindi. जब मैंने कॉमेडी शुरू की थी हमने जो इंडिया में, तो वन ऑफ द कैटलिस्ट ऑफ द कॉमेडी सीन इन इंडिया, देयर वाज अ कॉमेडी क्लब इधर मुंबई में. इट वाज कॉल्ड द कॉमेडी स्टोर, जो यूके का कॉमेडी अभी भी यूके में है, पिकेडली सर्कस में. इट्स प्रॉब्ली वन ऑफ द ओल्डेस्ट कॉमेडी क्लब्स इन द वर्ल्ड. आई थिंक पता नहीं 60-80 साल से वहाँ भी है. ओके, मतलब वहाँ द लेजेंड्स ऑफ कॉमेडी, लाइक राइट फ्रॉम यू कुड से जिम कैरी टू रॉबिन विलियम्स टू जॉर्ज कार्लिन, रिचर्ड प्रायर, एवरीबडी हैज़ परफॉर्म्ड ऑन दैट स्टेज इन लंडन. And तो they had opened in India in 2010. And तो जब मैं भी तब कॉमेडी में नहीं था, आई रिमेंबर इधर पैलेडियम मॉल जो है उसमें था, 3rd या 4th फ्लोर पे था. एंड पीपल डिडंट नो बाहर कॉमेडी स्टोर लिखा होता था. तो इवन व्हेन आई वेंट फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम, आई जनरली रिमेंबर, मुझे लगा ये जो दुकान होती है, दे सेल दिस फनी प्रॉप्स एंड हैट्स एंड तो ऐसे ये क्या है, तो जैसे ये कॉमेडी क्लब है, ऐसे मतलब क्या बोलते नहीं, बंदा स्टेज पे जाता है. And it was a 300-seater, that small place in that mall, but they had designed it so beautifully. It was a 310-seater comedy club. And और तब क्या होता था, there were no Indian comedians, बहुत few थे.
This is which year?
This is 2011, 2010, 2011.
Okay.
So these guys had to fly down comedians from the UK, or visiting comedians या ऑस्ट्रेलिया से कोई
To actually perform in India?
Yeah. So they used to have shows on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So they used to get these comics because they have the roster of the comedy. उनके वहाँ क्लब्स में थे, तो उनको बोलते थे हमने इंडिया में क्लब खोला, आ जाओ आप. तो वो लोग आते थे. बट क्या होता था दैट दोज गाइज ह्यूमर वाज वेरी डिफरेंट, नंबर 1. नंबर 2, सम ऑफ द एक्सेंट्स, इफ ब्रिटेन में भी स्कॉटिश एक्सेंट, आयरिश एक्सेंट आर वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग. हमको भी नहीं समझ में आया, उनको नहीं समझ में आता है वहाँ के लोगों को. तो दोज कॉमिक्स यूज्ड टू कम हियर, एंड तब से ये कॉमेडी स्टोर का सॉर्ट ऑफ शुरू हुआ. एंड सो दैट टाइम देयर वर नो इंडियन कॉमिक्स, सो दे और एंड वी यूज्ड टू गो देयर एज स्मॉल फिलर, जो हम बडिंग अपकमिंग कॉमेडियंस थे, कि बिटवीन 3-4 ऑफ देम एक हमको 5 मिनट का स्पॉट मिलता था.
Who were performing with you that time?
So that time, like
From the Indian scene?
Indian scene before me, like, so I would say people like Veer Das were slightly ahead of us. Maybe I think Veer would have started in 2009 or something. Because they were doing, so Veer एक था, because Veer का भी जो background, he was from Chicago if I'm not mistaken. तो ये लोग वहाँ पढ़े थे, वहाँ देखा उन्होंने कॉमेडी, बोला हे हम वहाँ भी, वो लोग वहाँ भी करते थे. फिर इंडिया में आके उन्होंने शुरू किया. फिर करण तलवार था, ही इज़ बॉलीवुड गांडू, उसका ट्विटर हैंडल है. फिर एक पापा सीजे. सो दीज आर द गाइज हु आर, पापा सीजे यूके में था, ये तो दोनों अमेरिका से थे, ये लोग इधर इंडिया में आए, चलो यहाँ शुरू करते हैं. सो आई रिमेंबर सीइंग वीज शो, maybe a 20-30 minute set at this. Tanmay Bhatt had recently started, so Veer, Tanmay, Rohan Joshi, Ashish Shakya, Khamba, जो AIB के boys थे, those guys were there. Then people like Kunal Rao, Saurabh Pant. So these are, I would say, the first batch of comedians in the country. I would say I would be the second batch. So 2010-2011 में we started. 2011 I started.
What was the first Kida? Why did you start?
हाँ, before getting into that, तो
अच्छा हाँ, sorry,
लैंग्वेज का. तो कॉमेडी स्टोर का क्या था, इफ यू टू कम एंड परफॉर्म, यू टू परफॉर्म इन इंग्लिश. ओके, सो दैट्स व्हाई ऑल ऑफ अस, और मेरा थोड़ा था, बिकॉज आई थिंक इन इंग्लिश, आई राइट इन इंग्लिश. घर पे बीवी बच्चों के साथ भी यूजुअली इंग्लिश होता है, हिंदी होती है. आई एम अ सिंधी, बट घर पे आई ऑनेस्टली आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड फुल सिंधी, लेकिन बात नहीं कर सकता हूँ. माई पेरेंट्स स्पीक, माई ब्रदर स्पीक, एल्डर ब्रदर, बट मुझे नहीं आती खास.
एक बार सिंधी में बोल दो, प्लेजर टू बी हियर ऑन द चिलार, कैसे बोलेंगे उसको?
मूंखे ॾाढी ख़ुशी आहे, मां अॼु चिलार में पॉडकास्ट तो करा. आई डोंट नो, आई थिंक आई वाज राइट, प्लीज फॉरगिव मी इफ इट वाज रॉन्ग.
लवली.
सो वहाँ से इंग्लिश शुरू हुआ. सो लॉट ऑफ कॉमेडियंस जैसे अमित टंडन है, विपुल गोयल है, उनका क्या होता था कि दे हैड टू कन्वर्ट देयर सेट्स फ्रॉम हिंदी. ये लोग दिल्ली में करते थे, हिंदी में करते थे. तो इफ दे वांट टू परफॉर्म एट कॉमेडी स्टोर, उनका तो रूल था इंग्लिश में करना है, तो दे यूज्ड टू सॉर्ट ऑफ रीराइट देयर जोक्स इन इंग्लिश एंड कम एंड परफॉर्म. देन मे बी इन 2013-2014 कॉमेडी स्टोर लेफ्ट. Then it was renamed as the Canvas Laugh Club.
Oh, that same thing was renamed as Canvas Laugh.
हाँ, वही क्लब था, उसको खाली बोर्ड चेंज करके Canvas Laugh Club कर दिया. And so when the Canvas Love Club was run by an India, तो बोला जो करना है करो. And then you have to understand that उसके बाद Jio आया, 4G आई. So people at villages, small towns started getting 4G connectivity. And in fact, the last few years has been the rise of Hindi comedy. Regional languages. Nowadays there are comedians who do in Punjabi, Marathi में पूरा group है भाड़ीपा करके, पंजाबी में comedians है, तमिल में है, तेलुगु में है, you name the languages. सिंधी में भी करते हैं लोग, एक दो जन है किया है उन्होंने, I've heard. But what I'm going to say is उसके बाद वो पूरा explode हुआ, But
so
most of us would be English.
This would be which year?
Where it sort of exploded.
Yeah.
I would say the language, the barrier language, maybe I think 2015, 16, if I'm not mistaken.
So not very long back.
Not very long back, long time back, and that has actually opened a lot of new doors, Today, like a Zakir does show in like in Ajmer, he'll get like 1,000 people. Ajmer, हम तो कभी सोच भी नहीं सकते हैं. We did not thought earlier कि कहाँ comedy के लोग आएंगे, But obviously the things are changing. Internet is sort of collapsing boundaries, I always used to say first there was a difference between a child in Bombay, Delhi compared to a child in supposing Nanded, उसकी exposure अलग थी. But today the exposure is the same. Everybody is consuming that same WhatsApp, the same bloody Instagram, And actually people in the smaller towns have more spending power than Mumbai today. क्योंकि वहाँ कुछ होता नहीं है ज़्यादा.
Yeah, correct.
एक 4 restaurant, एक mall है. So in fact the spending power there I think is much more than spending power here. खर्चे ज़्यादा नहीं है उधर. है लेकिन इतने ज़्यादा नहीं जैसे बॉम्बे में है.
I'm sure. Yeah. Bombay में तो.
Yeah, like Calcutta. You're from Calcutta. Calcutta things are still cheap. I remember I think 2016 I went for a haircut. तो Calcutta में था, free था. 15 रुपया यार haircut का, and it was not like some रस्ते पे.
15 रुपए.
हाँ, but it was a fairly good air conditioned salon in some market है. 15 या maximum 50 रुपये हो गए यार. हाँ. So बॉम्बे में रस्ते का नाई सारा 300 रुपये लेता है यार. So that's the thing. So I feel that people in smaller cities have more things. So that's fair. That's how I came to the language. But I always, right from beginning, there's some few of us like Veer, Saurabh, Azim. We think in English, we write in English, and we are okay with it. Maybe we are not getting those numbers what the Hindi comedians are getting, but that's my forte. It will be very foolish of me to change my voice now and start writing in Hindi and doing Hindi, because you have to study in a Hindi medium school. You have to be surrounded by that. Because some of the words in Hindi are so powerful, आप बोलो एक word like छिछोरा, English का कोई replacement है ही नहीं इसका, could be incompetent, nincompoop, I don't know, not even that. आप बताओ if you know.
No, I don't know. छिछोरा would be.
What it is, but such a beautiful word. एक word से वो word ही बोलो ना हंसी आती है आदमी.
But do you think changing language will help you? Reach more people?
No, it will be fooling myself. It will be fooling myself. I will lose my audience. जो मेरी audience base है, I will lose it. And I have a different goal. Like I went to Australia just now. As I said, I just came back from Australia, and on a Tuesday I was free. I went to a comedy club there. They were fortunate enough. उनका open mic था. 250-300 लोग थे. सब गोरे. And they said, "Do you want to go on the stage? We would love, if you want, please hop on the stage. We'll give you 10-minute spot." I said, "Amazing! It's a comedy club called the Comics Lounge, which is the best comedy club in entire Australia."
Okay, where is this in Australia?
In Melbourne.
Melbourne.
And Melbourne is really one of the cities they love comedy. So on a Tuesday, 8 o'clock show, there were 300 people come for an open mic. मतलब there was no big headliners, कोई stars नहीं थे. And वो बोला, "Sir, we are very sorry, आज कम लोग हैं, usually 500 आते हैं Tuesday को." I said, "Tuesday को 500 आते हैं?" I think हाँ, Tuesday को 500.
How is the same thing in India?
Oh, India, I went for a comedy yesterday. There were 30 people in the audience.
30 people.
30 people. यहाँ comedy clubs इतने बड़े हैं भी नहीं, छोटे-छोटे comedy clubs हैं. 30, 20, 30, which is fine. So the point I'm not telling you is, I went there. I was performing in front of 200-300 goras, all white people. एक भी Indian नहीं था. And I was okay because I write in English, I think in English. There वो issues अलग होते हैं. You have to little slow down. ये जो हम स्पीड पे बात कर रहे हैं उनको नहीं समझ में आता. You have to go slow down. Some choice of words have to be different. So because see, finally we as comedians, as writers, we know how to write jokes. कभी accent नहीं समझ में आएगा. But if you work on that, so I'm confident if any of our comedians from India goes and settles in maybe a Melbourne or a New York or a Sydney or anywhere in the world or London, give them 1 year, they will start doing
picking
well
up the
there.
language, yeah.
Not the language, the accent.
The accent,
how
I
he
mean
speaks
the accent,
slow,
yeah, of course.
Like if I ask you what's the drinking age limit in Maharashtra, it's 25, okay? Now if you tell a Gora what is the drinking age limit, the construction of that sentence उसको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. So there you have to change it. At what age are you allowed to drink?
Got it.
Just change some
Framing.
words. हम framing of the words, you know, उनको नहीं समझ में आता है. मतलब they can't understand what you mean by drinking age limit, you know. Like many times you ask, you know, हम यहाँ पूछते हैं आपका दुकान बंद कब होता है? You know, what time does the store close? You know, but somewhere there you have to take it थोड़ा differently, you know.
Like?
What are your working hours, basically? You know,
Got it.
they think close means going to shut down. You know what I'm saying?
Permanently. Yeah,
Permanently. So
yeah.
it has to be those words, very, very
Yeah,
small
yeah.
nuances you have to understand.
I think I've stayed in the UK for about a year and a half,
Yeah,
and I've
yeah.
understood that they also really can't speak the language properly. I mean, unka
Yeah.
English is so different than ours.
Absolutely.
That, you know, I was just asking, you know, this white friend of mine, he's like, hey man, how you doing? Yeah, not too bad, yeah.
हाँ.
अब ये not too bad, वो ये नहीं बोल रहे कि I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah, not too bad, yeah, mate. अब वो not too bad, the way you say it, I mean, not too bad versus good. The way it makes like a heaven hell kind of difference. But yeah, when did you start comedy? Which year did you start
I
comedy?
started, my first open mic was on 3rd Feb 2012.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was very good.
Where was it? Bombay only?
It was in Bombay. So it was actually a New Year resolution, 1st Jan 2012. मैंने अपने आप को बोला to do something different with my life. So I'll sign up for the open mic. मैंने उसके पहले काफ़ी कॉमेडी शोज देखे थे, कॉमेडी स्टोर में देखे थे, वीर का देखा था, इधर उधर कॉमेडी क्लब्स में मैंने देखा था, मतलब जहाँ जहाँ कॉमेडी होती थी, क्या सेड हाँ मे बी आई कैन गिव इट अ शॉट. सो 1st Jan 2012 न्यू ईयर रेजोल्यूशन था. 3rd Feb आई रिमेंबर था. इट वाज एट कूल शेफ कैफ़े विच इज़ नाउ स्लिंक एंड बाडो. इट्स अ very popular night club in Worli. It was called Cool Chef Cafe that time. तो वहाँ जाके मैंने रजिस्टर किया, ऑनलाइन फेसबुक पे था, रजिस्टर किया, उधर गया मैंने कुछ 1 महीना था लिखने को, तो कुछ लिखा मैंने. एंड आई डिडंट नो हाउ टू, लाइक व्हेन यू एंटर द स्टेज व्हाट यू से, व्हेन यू गेट ऑफ द स्टेज व्हाट यू से. तो मैंने 1-2 कॉमेडी, तभी रसल पीटर का वीडियोज़ आया थे, 1-2 वीडियोज़ यूट्यूब पे आए थे. तो लाइक हाई माई नेम इज़ अतुल खत्री, एंड वेल साइनिंग ऑफ इज हे थैंक यू सो मच, यू बीन अ ग्रेट ऑडियंस. तो वो थोड़ा बहुत सीखा, कुछ लिखा, और मैंने जाके वहाँ परफॉर्म किया होता. तो आई रिमेंबर इट वाज लाइक 30-40 पीपल इन द ऑडियंस, हाउ एन ओपन माइक शुड बी.
Right.
एंड आई टुक माई वाइफ अलॉन्ग. आई डिडंट टेल माई चिल्ड्रन, यू नो, घर पे उनको, माई डॉटर्स आर दैट टाइम 17 and 15. तो अगर उनको बताते क्या कॉमेडी करने जा रहा है बाप, तो लोग बाप सटिया गया सुन में, यू नो. तो हमने उनको बोला हम डिनर के लिए जा रहे हैं. एंड माई वाइफ ने मुझे पूछा क्या यू वांट मी टू कम विथ यू. आई सेड या डू कम.
But your wife knew that you were performing.
Yeah, of course. I told her. I
हाँ.
confided in her.
हाँ.
But we are like, you know, she's my, we are both like supportive of each other's. So I told her I'm going. And she, in fact, honestly, she goaded me कि हाँ करो, like, you know. And so we बच्चों को बताया कि हम रात को डिनर पे जा रहे हैं किधर. And we went for this. And I told her, and she said, you want me to come with you? कहाँ, you know, wife बैठी है तो थोड़ा ज़्यादा jitters आएंगे स्टेज पे. ऐसे नहीं आओ, अगर कल बॉम्ब हुआ, I don't want to jump off the Worli ceiling, you know. खाली वो डर था कि बॉम्ब नहीं हो, you know, कि अब कोई हंसे ही नहीं. Which and that happens today also. From all comedians, you write new jokes, पता नहीं हमको funny लग रहा है, audience को funny लग रहा है या नहीं लग रहा है.
Exactly my point. So just want to segue a little. You know, you have friends around you who say, अरे यार दीपक you're also funny, you're also funny. अब दोस्त बहुत कई बार चढ़ा देते हैं कि नहीं यार funny हो यार, अच्छा है, you should try. And I actually want to give it a shot. I want to, you know, maybe do a couple of open mics and see if it's a thing that I should maybe take up. I've done poetry open mics before.
Okay.
And that's
So you've been on stage.
Yeah, I've been on stage.
You're comfortable on stage.
Very much.
Okay,
very
then
much.
that's one big sort of hurdle you have crossed.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people just going on stage in front of unknown strangers, suddenly looking at you, कि चल हंसा, you know, that can, you know, throw you off.
Yeah, so I've been on stage. I've been on stage since about 8-9 years now. I've been doing talks and going to colleges and speaking to them.
Then okay.
So college, so stage fear per se ऐसा कुछ नहीं है.
ठीक है.
But the way you write certain jokes, the way you tweak it around, do you have an audience age in mind while writing jokes, or
No.
or do you just write?
I don't know. I don't think in mind कि मुझे इसको टारगेट करना है, वो टारगेट करना है, इतना नहीं होता. You write what you feel is funny, number one, what you feel you want to talk about, you know, and you'll be surprised people across, you know, age genres and other will understand, will pick it up, you know, as long as you are truthful to the joke, as long as you are, you know, thing. एक चीज़ when you said your friend said तुम funny हो, चले जाओ, things like that, all that is okay. After 4 drinks everybody becomes funny, you know. तुम्हारा जोक है, पंजाबियों को 2 ड्रिंक के बाद हर पंजाबी फनी हो जाता है, they are more funnier than you, you know. The idea is going on stage, वो 5-10 मिनट की ठीक है, idea is going on stage for 20-30 minutes, you know. And I've seen that people, I mean I've seen people at open mics, अरे यार I'm damn funny, my friends tell me you're very funny, वो शो के पहले I'm seeing वो टगा रहा है बैठ के, you know, I get funny only after a drink. वो तुम जाओगे स्टेज पे 5 minutes you may be funny, 2 jokes will work of yours, and then when people start looking at you कि चलो बता अब क्या है, and then that can kill you. And I've seen those people never come back on stage, you know.
Right.
So so definitely go on stage, write something funny, and which you think is funny. Now you don't know whether it's funny or no.
Right.
So एक तो मैं आपको suggestion दूंगा, I mean for you if you want, go and see a lot of comedy open mics. तो आपको पता चलेगा format क्या है, you know, things like that. Before that I went and watched a lot of comedy shows just as an audience, pay an audience, sit and quietly watch क्या हो रहा है, you know. And then you write something, write it, memorize it, and then go and this, because क्या होगा, you write a joke in a particular way, there's a setup and a punch. अब तुमने setup बोल दिया लेकिन punch पे तुम भूल गए, तो वो खत्म हो गया उधर ही.
Correct. So how do you make sure that while you're writing, it's funny in your head?
You should make you laugh. Right? You read, you consume movies, right? कोई आपको सीन बहुत फनी लगता है, आप हंसते हो, पागलों की तरह हंसते हो. You somewhere, so you write something which is funny to you, okay? If you have like a friend, make that friend sit in front of you, read, see the expressions क्या है, so tell him to sort of उसको पढ़ा jokes अपने, and if he's laughing, genuine chuckle आ रहा है, हंसी आ रही है at that point, you know, then you know you have something in it, there is some meat in it. Now you go and try it on stage. और स्टेज पे क्या होता है ना, you'll be surprised, आप एक ओपन माइक में गया, somehow the audience that day is beautiful, the guys before you or the host has done a great job in warming up the audience, look, crowd hasa. You'll have same set, you'll go to another open mic and it will not work.
Yeah.
And then you say साला ये crowd तो बेकार है, crowd बेकार नहीं है, maybe somehow it was, they didn't understand what you were trying to say, you know, maybe they've had a bad night of, you know, bad experience of coming to the comedy club, तो उनको तेरे पे गुस्सा निकाल रहे, whatever. But though you don't kill the joke, then you keep on trying it. Somewhere just one word here and there changed. Now you can see how it just, you know, changed. Like I remember one time back, I used to go and, you know, I had a joke where I used to use, can I say the word? Can I give
yeah.
I used to say this word, which people were laughing, but somehow some comedian told me, it's very hurtful to the hearers, you know.
Okay.
You know, so instead of learn, use a euphemism. So use भिंडी. Now अभी देख, मैं भिंडी बोला तुम हंसना चालू किया, correct? So now with that just change, people know what it is. But तुमने भिंडी बोल गया, लोग अभी और जोर से हंसने लगे, you know.
So you have भिंडी for me now.
आज के बाद कोई भिंडी फ्राई नहीं खाएगा. No भिंडी दो प्याजा.
भिंडी दो प्याजा has just been ruined.
So just that one word change. For 6 months I was doing that joke with that L word, which I also don't like, but I thought it is, लोग हंस रहे हैं, it is essential to the joke. But then I met a comedian saying, यार why are you using it? बहुत कान को harsh लग रहा है. Some women are squirming कि कहाँ से suddenly, you know, इतना suave looking guy suddenly एक गंदा word फेंक दिया. Use a euphemism. Then I used काकड़ी, ये वो एक दो time try किया. Then I said भिंडी, you know, and then भिंडी तो people are exploding, you know. So you have not even used the dirty word. People still know what you're talking about, and still you have delivered a beautiful joke. I'm just giving an example of
right
for you when you ask, you know. So keep on. It's a very hard work. Comedy बहुत hard work है. Don't think it's like easy और बहुत cool लगता है stage पे जाके लोग हंस रहे हैं ये वो. But बहुत फटती है पीछे when it goes to writing a joke.
Did you also have to explain it to your family and relatives that why you doing?
Yeah, boss. I was a CEO of an IT company. I was 44 when I did my open mic. ऐसे कोई बच्चा नहीं था कि हाँ ठीक है बेटा try कर लो, नहीं चला तो चलो, ये आप 22 साल के हो.
And did you quit your job before?
No. So 2012 I did my open mic. I started enjoying it very much. 3rd Feb मतलब वो नशा चढ़ गया. You know, every night I want to go and perform now because people are laughing, people are enjoying. You are writing more. You saying चलो अच्छा ये भी accept और भी लिखो. Fortunately we had that comedy store there, so I used to go and perform there, open spots करता था, ये वो करता था, काफ़ी हसल किया. And but I was working, I was getting a salary. I was working as a director in a company. Salary मिल रही थी. At that time children I said 17 और 17 और 15 साल के थे तो उनको भी कॉलेज जाना था. One daughter was saying कि शायद मैं अब्रॉड जाऊंगी तो उसको पैसे वैसे बचाने हैं उसके लिए. तो it was not क्या चलो यार पैशन आ गया, चलो मज़ा आ गया, छोड़ दो कल रिजिग्नेशन दे दो. बहुत जन करते हैं ऐसे.
Right.
वो नहीं करना चाहिए कभी भी. तो फिर 4 साल 2012 to 2016 मैंने दोनों किया. फॉर्चुनेटली कॉमेडी ऐसी स्ट्रीम है जो आप शाम को, इवनिंग थिंग, शो आपका शुरू होता है 7:30-8 बजे. आप सुबह से रात अपना, सुबह से शाम अपना काम कर सकते हो और शाम को अपने यू कैन फॉलो योर पैशन. तो फॉर्चुनेटली ये था. तो मैं सुबह से शाम काम करता था. फिर आई रिमेंबर शाम को आई यूज्ड टू हैव अ जोक ऑन स्टेज वैसे कि आई फेल्ट लाइक क्लार्क केंट, you know, in the 7:30, going to your office washroom, removing your shirt, tie, jacket, getting into a Superman costume, and you know, rushing out to save the world. So हाँ, तो I used to go and do these shows, and बहुत मज़ा आया उससे. But I was seeing कि then धीरे धीरे एक 8-9 महीने के बाद थोड़ा पैसे आने लगे. People say, hey, we have heard you're funny, can you come and perform in my birthday party? Rotary Club का event है, ये है वो है. फिर वहाँ से थोड़े कॉर्पोरेट शोज शुरू हो गए, पब्लिक शोज मिलना शुरू हो गया. देन पीपल फ्रॉम अदर सिटी स्टार्टेड कॉलिंग यू. जैसे दिल्ली में अमित है, नीति पाल्टा, ये सब कॉमेडियंस है. ये यू नो एक चीज़ है ना, ये इंडियन कॉमेडी सीन जितनी भी बड़ी है ना, लेकिन है बहुत छोटी. अगर एक नया वॉइस आ जाता है ना, विद इन 1 डे ऑल कॉमेडियंस नो कि एक नया अच्छा वॉइस आया है, सुनो उसको, यू नो. सो वर्ड स्प्रेड्स. ऐसे मेरा भी वर्ड स्प्रेड हो गया उधर दिल्ली में कि नया एक बुढ़ा आदमी है, CEO है, लेकिन शाम को कॉमेडी करता है.
saying बुढ़ा आदमी है?
नहीं, आई एम सेइंग माय सेल्फ. इतना बुढ़ा भी थे, 44 था. तो सो डिसाइड कि हे कम टू हमारा ये 1-2 कॉमेडी क्लब्स, हम एक रूम्स चलाते हैं, व्हाई डोंट यू कम एंड परफॉर्म इन दिल्ली. तो मैं सैटरडे संडे चले गया दिल्ली. फिर वहाँ से शुरू हुआ. फिर वहाँ एक दूसरा प्रॉब्लम होता है. आप जब यहाँ बॉम्बे में कर रहे हो, यू डू लॉट ऑफ बॉम्बे रिलेटेड जोक्स.
राइट.
आप मलाड, कांदिवली, बुरेली की बात करोगे. अभी दिल्ली में तो समझ नहीं आएगा इनको.
करेक्ट.
सो आइदर यू एक्सप्लेन द जोक, or your jokes have to be so universal that you know you now have to think that you write jokes which can work in Delhi, which can work in Pune, which can work in Calcutta, and which could work with the rest of the world with an international audience.
Right.
You know? So now you start writing jokes which you start cutting across above all these you know small things. You know, पहले सबके ये मेरा जोक था अपर वर्ली पे, ये you know all this thing. अभी you can't do that in Sydney to a Gora audience. क्या है अपर वर्ली में?
So again, I mean, which is why I was asking.
So
do
4
you
years
have
I
like
worked.
generic?
And then at one stage when I felt I was making good money, not as good money still as my directorship, but I said चलो यार now it's, and I saw that it's a growing field. अभी नई फील्ड है. आई एम गेटिंग पॉपुलैरिटी, द लाइन इज़ ग्रोइंग. अभी तो सिर्फ बॉम्बे, दिल्ली, पुणे में हो रहा है. अभी तो और जाएगा, वर्ल्ड में जाएगा, यू नो. देन माई वाइफ ऑल्सो इज ऑल्सो फ्रीलांसर. शी सेड यार टेक द लीप ऑफ फेथ. तो फिर 1st April 2016 आई क्विट माई जॉब.
So 3rd Feb 2011, 12.
4 साल के बाद.
4 years you were doing both.
Yeah.
You were hustling.
And I always give this advice because बहुत टाइम मैं देखा ना, अरे सर आई एम क्विटिंग माई जॉब, आई एम मज़ा आ रहा है इसमें, आई फाउंड माई वॉइस, आई फाउंड माई पैशन, फाइनली आई फाउंड. 22 साल से मैं तो अब तक काम कर. फर्स्ट इट्स अ हार्ड लाइन. और अभी तो बहुत ज़्यादा हार्ड हो गया. इतने कमेडियंस आ गए हैं. You know, it's if you are good at it, if you are this, then there are a lot of opportunities. You'll get writing opportunities, you'll get obviously stand-up comedy, performances, private shows, public shows, ये सब मिलेगा. But it's a hustle, you know, it's a easy line नहीं है. Just like any other thing, you know. So 2016 4 साल के बाद मैंने quit किया and got full time into comedy.
Lovely. What are your favorite comedy Bollywood movies?
Oh, Bombay to Goa.
Yeah.
Padosan. Half Ticket.
So
I was a huge fan of Mahmood and Kishore Kumar.
Yeah.
Kishore Kumar people know as a singer, but as an actor he was a genius. As a comedy actor.
Oh really?
Kishore Kumar भैया आप
I don't
in
think
Padosan, if you remember Padosan.
I don't remember the film.
Okay. So he's Sunil Dutt
fairly
है.
young,
Sunil Dutt है. He's a Padosan of Saira Banu, and Kishore Kumar da is his music teacher. But you just see his acting. You see his Mahmood was genius. You know. उसका महमूद की एक पिक्चर है, फॉरगेट द नेम, आई थिंक प्यार किए जा. उसमें एक सीन है, इफ़ यू गाइज प्लीज गो, आई थिंक इट्स देयर ऑन यूट्यूब फॉर श्योर, वेयर ही इज़ अ अपकमिंग मूवी डायरेक्टर convincing his rich father to invest in his movie. He's explaining to him a horror scene, you know. That I think is one of the most brilliant, you know, acting performances come writing performance. You have to just see that scene, and every time you see it, you know, you laugh. You know. So like that, so many of them, a lot of English movies like Airplane series thi. Airplane 1, 2, 3,
Right.
Naked Gun series, you know, where there were satires, there were spoofs of things.
Right.
Then as a kid, I think I thank my elder brother and sister. They got me exposed to this magazine called the Mad magazine. If
Okay.
you don't know, it's an American, it's a comic book. अभी बंद हो गया है.
अच्छा.
But it was there during the 80s and 90s. It was a weekly, if I'm not mistaken, or a monthly. It was just satire and spoofs and things like that. I still have today, I think, one of the largest collection of Mad magazines. I think I would be having more than 1200 of those magazines.
1200.
Yeah. हर वीकली आती थी, बहुत है मेरे पास.
अच्छा.
पता नहीं अभी ऊपर लगी है, चलो आई होप यू नो व्हाइट एंड ने खा नहीं गए, but yeah, so I was a big fan.
You like Hera Fairy?
Yeah, of course. I like the current में, like, you know, आंखें,
Yeah.
You know, जो दूसरी बनी थी,
आंखें
थी, फिर a lot of those movies with Govinda and Kader Khan, you know, those are amazing. Evergreen. Then अपना कौन सा है यार, which is that the cult movie, I'm on the tip of my tongue. नहीं with Amir Khan and Salman Khan यार.
अरे अंदाज अपना
यार, क्या rating है उसका. अभी भी recently मैंने गुलाब गैंग्स देखी. I think one of the OTT platforms पे है, you know. उसमें भी एक दो scenes इतने funny थे. You know, they were like these small scenes, but they were so funny, like so dark and funny. You know, see, I like
what is
dark
your
humor. I like dark humor. I don't do it much on stage. So I run my dark jokes through my daughters and irritate them. बहुत मजा आता है.
Do they do they cringe out, or do they give you like great feedback?
No,
not working.
No. So as when I write a new comedy set,
how do you test it out? How do you test your new
initially
material?
right in the beginning, in fact, I have a video at home also. मैं उनको, they were I think 17, 15, वही कुछ नया लिखा होगा, तो मैंने उनको रूम में बिठाया. I remember my daughter sitting. I remember the scene very clear. Both my daughter's wife is sitting. After dinner we are sitting. Mic तो होता नहीं था घर पे, तो deodorant can लेके, that's your mic. I was running jokes through them, and I used to see the reactions. So one is, even if they get a smile, you know, that means the joke is registered. Yeah. It's registered, you know. And wife के साथ तो ऐसे equation है. My wife says it's a horrible joke. It does best on stage, you know.
Yeah.
Or when she laughs the hardest, it really bombs on stage, you know. So
this could also come.
So this is the first reaction. This is the first reaction. जैसे तू अपने friend को बात किया तूने, you know, he may like the joke, but finally he is not the judge. You go on stage, whether the stage likes it or not likes it, you do it. You know, sometimes you write a joke. I'm telling you, just one word or just one pause can change the entire nature of a joke. That's how technical this line is, you know. And sometimes you realize that one word or that pause, maybe after 1.5, 2 years of doing the joke, okay, shit, I should have done this, you know.
And you maybe use the same joke with this new addition.
And it just kills more harder than what used to kill all these years, you know. That's how it is. Yeah.
For somebody starting out, you mentioned do open mics, and more than
go
doing
watch
open mics,
go watch comedy. Watch live comedy which is happening in your city. Even if you're a fan of comedy, you want to do a budding comedian, suppose you're in, say, Nanded, and there's obviously no comedy happening in Nanded. Maybe on the weekend, come to Mumbai, you know, go to Pune, somewhere closer, and watch comedy. First, go watch what it is. Okay, a lot of सब गलती क्या करते हैं ना, and I've seen that happens. वो YouTube पे बैठ के, you know, they'll watch Daniel Sloss and you know, big names, which are very great comedians. But you have to understand that those guys are doing comedy in the US. In the UK, where they have seen comedy since last 100 years. वहाँ तो वो लोग कोई भी टॉपिक पे बात कर सकते हैं. You know, absolute freedom of speech है, especially in the US and UK. And they talk on, like Louis C.K., one of the comedians, one of his specials, he opened his special with a 15-minute talk on illegal abortion, you know, which was a big hot topic there in the US. अब तुम यहाँ तो वो नहीं कर सकते हो, you know. So क्या होता है that like I remember मैं एक ओपन माइक कर रहा था बहुत साल पहले इधर कैनवस लाफ क्लब में. आई वाज होस्टिंग इट, और एक कमेडियन आया एंड ही वेंट ऑन स्टेज एंड ही वाज लाइक टॉकिंग अबाउट पीडोफिलिया, यू नो, एंड पीडोफिलिया एंड डेड चिल्ड्रन इंडिया में, यू नो, हिंदी में बात कर रहा था. क्या मुझे पीडोफिलिया बहुत पसंद है, ऐसा है, लोग मेरे पर, आई मीन एट द एंड ऑफ इट आई एम टेलिंग द ऑडियंस वाज स्कॉमिंग, नोबडी लाफ्ड, पीपल वर बूइंग हिम. And then he got off the stage and I
This was in Mumbai only?
Mumbai. फिर मैं इसको after the show मेरे को आके बोलते, सर give me feedback. तो मैंने, यार आ जा तू साइड पे आ. मैंने कहा, are you really a pedophile? You could be, I don't know.
Yeah.
So no sir, I'm not a pedophile. And I said, then why are you making, I mean, first of all you're talking something which is not close to you. Which means you are now acting. And audience is such a beautiful, I would say, a platform immediately they can come to know they are lying or not lying.
Hmm.
अगर मैं कल जाके बोलूँ यार मैं I went that day to a night club, I picked up these 2 chicks, I took them home, you know, blah 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 blah. Or if I say I met these 2 chicks in a nightclub and they came to me and say, Uncle, we are your daughter's friends, you know, that's more funny, that's real, you know, because people can see through you, you know. So I said, क्या तू ये करते? नहीं sir, I watched this particular comedian, some नाम बोझा मुझे पता ही नहीं था, American, I love him. So it is his time inspired by him. I said, यार चूतिया वो करता है UK में, वो 50 साल का है, वो कितने साल से कॉमेडी कर रहा है, you know. So do something which you know, you are a college student, talk about your college life, talk about your dating issues, talk about issues which you have on Tinder.
Oh, you're a student?
Yeah, young बच्चा था.
Oh.
Not an old guy, also a young kid he was.
By now I'm thinking he's an old guy.
No. He was like in his 20s, early 20s.
Oh,
you know?
damn.
And so that's a mistake what they do. They'll watch Bill Burr, they'll watch Dave Chappelle, they'll watch George Carlin, all these big great names, you know. And कभी live comedy देखते हैं जो तुम्हारे बाजू में तुम्हारे बार में हो रहा है वहाँ नहीं जाके देखेंगे हम, you know. फिर आके फिर हगेंगे स्टेज पे ये सब बात करेंगे. एंड आई एम नॉट इवन सेइंग हगेंगे, यू कैन टॉक व्हाटएवर यू वांट. आई टोटली बिलीव इन कॉमेडी, यू कैन स्पीक व्हाटएवर यू वांट, यू नो, बट एटलीस्ट इट शुड बी contextual to the audience, you know, and should be true to you, you know. So like I have this personal thing, whoever goes up on stage, I want to know your story. I'm seeing you for the first time, I don't know you,
Right.
I want to know about you. Like, hi, I am from so and so, I'm from Calcutta, I studied in the UK, you know, maybe some jokes come out of there, I now shifted to Mumbai, this has happened to me, you know, say that and then you can go. But initially I wouldn't want to know who you are, you know, in a thing, you know, which a lot of comedians do. Yeah, I'm from this, I'm from here, I'm from there, you know.
Is it like a good starting point for people to make jokes
No.
on your story or like
Obviously,
your journey or
no,
whatever?
not really journey, but at least little bit about yourself. I want to know you.
Okay.
You know, like when you're getting on stage for the first time, I want to know little bit about you, you know. Where are you? What are you? You know.
Got it.
Are you from Mumbai? Are you not from Mumbai? Are you studying here? Are you working here? Whatever, little bit. I'm not saying that's the rule. There are no rules in comedy, let me tell you. You know, ऐसे कोई rule नहीं होता है.
And is it taught professionally?
So you can teach somebody of something called as creative writing. So comedy is 2 parts. One is the writing part, you write your jokes. So just for people who don't know, comedy is a written set. You have to write your jokes, you know, word by word. Most people do that, you know. Obviously, a lot of improv comes on stage when you're talking to the audience and things like that. But most of comedy is a written set, is a rehearsed set, which you know it. मतलब रात को मैं आपको 3 बजे उठाऊं भी, you should be able to blurt out your jokes in that particular order, you know.
Right.
It's like a performing art. That's one is the writing part. Second is the performance part. So there are some comedians who their writing is so strong, but the performance can be deadpan, and still you like it. Like one example, Mitch Hedberg. Go please, you know, Google him and watch him. He's passed away. American comedian, super one-liners, but such well-written one-liners. Like there's no space for like so well chiseled out jokes. Matlab, beautiful, you know. The writing is such that one-liners, but deadpan. He goes without any emotion. Just in fact, he used to not look at the audience. I used to be drunk or drugged. I don't know. He used to just look down and just joke. And people are falling off the seats. Yeah. Then there's some comedians whose writing is so weak. I would say not weak, but not so strong. But they compensate it with their performances. You know, they'll jump on stage. They'll do this.
How can you
do that,
how can you
know.
compensate?
Like
Poor writing.
Not poor writing. I would say weaker
Not so
writing.
funny writing.
By your performance. You know? Like Jim Carrey, for example.
Right.
You know, you see Jim Carrey makes all these facial inspections and, you know, moves around a lot on stage. You know, Robin Williams also used to move a lot on stage, you know. I'm not saying the writing was weak, but there's a lot of more performance involved in that.
I
so
remember,
you can compensate slightly bit. Like I remember sitting with one of the comedians in India and he told me a joke and we were all sitting in the writer's room. A fuck all joke. But the way he sold it on stage. The way he sold it on stage, people are fucking, you know, clapping and, you know, going crazy. So that's what I'm saying. How you sell the joke. How convincing you sell the joke. Maybe through a performance, maybe through, you know, some histrionics you do on stage. Yeah.
Got it. I was actually watching a show, and I mentioned I'm from Calcutta, right? So I was watching this show by Karan and Biswa when they were doing pretentious movie reviews, and they were performing together. I remember.
Was it a live show? It was that recording
live show.
It's a live show.
Live show, in I think Kala Mandir in Calcutta. तो वहाँ मैं देख रहा था और वहाँ सो सेट्स ओवर, ठीक है, Kanan comes in, brings in his guitar, and they start singing that A B C D E F G H I,
हाँ
the
हाँ वही
thing they
पीछे
do,
था हाँ
and Kanan, everybody's a fan of Kanan, so he's the audience goes gaga like, and that too pretentious was a hit back then. Now they don't do it anymore, but it was a hit back then. So
absolutely
ABCD, that
that
set was
song from that
fantastic, right? And then Karan ends his set. Biswa walks in. Biswa is like, "अरे यार अभी गिटार नहीं बजा सकते, joke मारना पड़ेगा."
हाँ
So that in itself was so funny.
funny
Like the audience broke into splits because now he's like, I can't sing. I don't have a guitar, but I have to compensate with jokes.
Correct.
And the way he says, "अरे कैसा joke मारना पड़ेगा यार."
हाँ.
So the way he sort of. So I think that is one example I can recall where he just took that moment and just cracked a joke and just like improv, and that sort of worked for the audience.
Sometimes just a small thing, like I remember we had all gone for a comedy festival, and the host of the festival, old man, he was given 5 minutes on stage. He used to introduce the festival. So he's the host of the festival, and we were told him this is a long shoot, 5 minutes sir आपका time है. और कोई कोई क्या होता है ना लोग को, they can't leave the mic. वो 5 मिनट 15-20 मिनट हम सब पीछे कमेडियन सारा बंद करे, वी हैव टू गो ऑन स्टेज एंड आई वाज द नेक्स्ट कमेडियन, सो ऑलवेज सेइंग कि क्या बोलेगा तू क्या बोलेगा, यू नो. सो आई जस्ट वेंट ऑन स्टेज एंड क्या, यू नो, लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन प्लीज थैंक सो एंड सो, यू नो, फॉर लीविंग द माइक, you know, and people burst out laughing, you know, and then later on these guys say, oh, we were thinking so many things but you said such a simple thing, you know?
yeah
You know, for finally leaving the mic, like, you know. So sometimes simple always works, you know. और क्या होता है ना, as comedians sometimes we think too much, हम layered jokes लिखे, ये लिखे वो लिखे, but finally you have to understand ये जो audience आ रही है आपके सामने ना, they are all working people. कोई बैंक में काम कर रहा है, कोई ये है, कोई ये है, कोई वो है, you know. They have come there in the night to relax, they have come to laugh, right? And sometimes you'll see simple jokes much better because they are not writers, they are seeing the layers in the jokes. Sometimes they'll understand the layers in the jokes, you know, but a lot of people just want simple humor, you know, honestly. That you have to also understand that part of it.
Now to quickly segue, Bigg Boss करना है आपको?
नहीं यार, I am not cut out for that. मेरा वो नहीं करना है. आया था मुझे अभी नहीं, बहुत साल पहले सब कॉमेडियंस को आया था कि डज एनीबडी वांट टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ बिग बॉस और थिंग्स लाइक दैट, यू नो.
अच्छा.
लास्ट में भी अभी जो हुआ था ना, दे हैव नो आइडिया. तो मैं कंफ्यूज हो गया, 2 बिग बॉस चलते हैं. एक बिग बॉस चलता है टीवी के लिए, एक चलता है ओटीटी के लिए, या कुछ अलग चलता है कुछ बिग बॉस.
अच्छा.
Yeah, because recently I got from some agency, they wanted me to come for one day. It was said so जो बिग बॉस जो OTT पे आते हैं, जो टीवी पे नहीं आते, something else. So apparently there are some 2 streams which run. One is obviously the big one which everybody sees,
Right.
and there's a smaller one. So I think one of my other fellow comedians went for it. I didn't want to do it, you know.
Why?
Just generally यार, I don't watch the show. I don't connect with it, you know. कल बोलो KBC जाना है ऐसे, हाँ यार अभी चलो, you know? और कोई शो पे जाना है, पर वो ब्लैक बिग बॉस नहीं यार. I don't think I'm cut out for that. मुझे बिग बॉस के लिए आया था और खतरों के खिलाड़ी बहुत टाइम पहले आया था, वो भी मुझे नहीं करना था. आई थिंक फाइनली वो लोग बोले ये बुढ़ा आदमी का मरो नहीं जाए.
खतरों के खिलाड़ी would be fun, yeah, like Atul Khatri on
खतरे के खिलाड़ी
खतरों.
नहीं बात यार.
Interesting. Can you share some anecdotes from your sets, maybe like the difference in audience between India and abroad? Any weird story that must have happened, or you went on stage and somebody said something, and how do you like prepare yourself?
No. So first is there are 2 audiences abroad. One is the Indian audience in abroad, and they are like your audience in Andheri or a Bandra. They are as skewed on to India, so you can go there and you can do all your Bombay jokes, you can do everything, and they just love it. Very warm audiences, you know. One is the Gora audience. Now the Gora audience is totally different. Now you're performing to an international, you know, audience, where you have to drop lot of your material which is India related. Like you can't do any political jokes there because they don't understand your politics, correct? So there what happens, then you do typical your family jokes on your children, which are also universal. Like for example, I had this entire set which used to kill in India about, like I'm married for 30 years. I'm talking about my 30-year relationship of that time I was 25 years into marriage. क्या मैं पक गया अपनी शादी से 25 साल, like typical husband wife marriage jokes जो इंडिया में will kill. Now, I remember doing it in front of a Gora audience in UK, and they were not laughing at all. And at the end of it, I asked one fellow comedian who was also an Indian, I asked her, यार ये क्यों नहीं चल रहे मेरे jokes? He said, yeah, because these guys are thinking, सर तो 25 साल से बच्चों suffer क्यों कर रहे हैं? Third year you should have got divorced and go away. Because divorces are so common there, you know. They are wondering why the hell you are a bloody idiot. Why are you complaining about your wife? If you are so fed up with her for 25 years, year 3 you should have just divorced and gone. Move ahead with your life. Why the fuck are you telling us your story? So that's how they are thinking, you know. Here we believe in long marriage. So just the same joke didn't work in UK because of, you know, you could say cultural differences. You know?
Right.
So you have to be also wary about that. Like also you have to be wary when you're performing abroad, how people laugh also. Like for example, the Americans laugh loud, they enjoy. Indians also laugh loud. But the Dutch, for example, they don't laugh. So they will clap, they will smile, but they don't ha 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 करके ऐसे एक दूसरे को वो क्या बोलते हैं हाई-फाई नहीं मारेंगे, you know.
So
And then when the show gets over,
kill your anthu?
of course, and when the show gets over, they'll say, "We loved your show." बच्चों हंसे क्यों नहीं? We loved it. You know? And then I came to know that the Dutch. So this is what you learn when you go abroad. They said that whenever in Europe they have to introduce a new product. So for example, Philips has to introduce a new fridge. They'll introduce it first in Holland, in Netherlands, because they know the Dutch are very critical. वो हर एक चीज़ देखेंगे. Once the Dutch approve it, then entire Europe will buy it. You know.
Oh.
Yeah. And when you go there, you have to understand, like how we all make fun of. You say the word "guju" in India, people start laughing, right? Now in Europe, the word is German. You say Germans, everybody just starts laughing. Yeah.
So that's how
So you sort of learn. More you travel, you understand nuances. You understand this. Like now, I went to Europe, Australia, New Zealand just now, and there were a lot of Goras who had come for the audience because Melbourne specifically, they love comedy. In Melbourne, they have
Melbourne Comedy Club.
They have the Melbourne Comedy Festival also, Melbourne
Right,
International
right,
Comedy,
right,
which is a
right.
1 month long comedy festival. You know, then Sydney has Just for Laughs, and Melbourne has the art, just like the Edinburgh, the Fringe. Melbourne has the Fringe. So there they love their comedy, and they in especially in Australia, they want to hear other voices. Australian voices sun ke pak gaye hain. So if an Indian guy goes there, they will all flock. Let us hear his story, as long as he speaks in English. You know.
So is it like we hear Australia में बहुत racism है against Indians and all that? Have you also faced something like that?
No. In fact, I'll tell you honestly. Especially we're talking about Australia. As I said, this year I went to the US, I went to Europe. I found Australian people very, very warm. And I met a Uber driver just maybe 10 days back. He picked me up from the airport, dropping me to the hotel. Indian tha, from Bombay, from Musgaon में था.
Oh.
A student now working as a Uber driver. And तो मैं उससे पूछा, he's in Australia. Student था पहले, अभी तो शादी 22 साल से है. 22 years he is in, where was that? Sydney. 22 years he's staying in Sydney, married, no children, they're studying there and all that. तो उसको मैंने पूछा कि have you faced racism? He's saying absolutely not. He's in fact, because he's saying I'm a taxi driver, can you imagine taxi रात को चला रहा है 2 बजे, drunk people sitting in this cab. That's why you see a lot of aggressive 4-5 people together, racism or never. And a lot of my friends who I met and all, they said, boss, we have never faced any kind of racism which is there. You know, like when I studied in UK, I found I could sense some racism.
Where were you studying?
I was studying in Manchester Business School.
Okay.
So I remember
Alliance Manchester Business School.
No, proper Manchester University.
Okay.
It's called the MBS, Manchester Business School.
Okay.
I think अभी Alliance हो गया?
अभी Alliance Manchester Business School.
So Alliance must be one of the
AMBS हो गया.
company who must have funded that. Alliance is the insurance company.
Yeah.
So they would have funded it. Yeah. So I remember going to the Hard Rock Cafe in Manchester, and we were standing in the queue, वो जो rope runner होते हैं. And as soon as I went to the door, he sings, so just to let you know, the drinks are very expensive inside. There's a minimum to order drink and things like that, you know. So I said, yeah, I know about it, you know. Which was there in 2020. अभी 25 साल हो गए and things have changed. Today, actually, things have become much superb. So I'll tell you this incident since we are on this topic.
Yeah.
हम लोग गए थे अभी दुबई में गया था शो पे. So Dubai has this area, I forget the area. It's one of the very new areas. The business district है या कुछ है. Beautiful nightclubs like Zuma is there. Like a lot of the
Bur Dubai.
Not Bur Dubai. No, it's in proper Dubai. It's behind Sheikh Zayed Road. I'm forgetting the name. Business Bay, I think.
Okay.
It's called Business Bay area.
Okay.
And I went there and there was this building where these beautiful nightclubs and things like that. And I was sitting at a friend's house for dinner. He's saying, चल तुम्हें तेको, it was Friday night, Saturday night, चल तेको दुबई की नाइट लाइफ दिखाता हूँ. यार छोड़ना कहाँ जाना है अभी यार, घर पे बैठे आराम से. बोलता नहीं चलना. I think उसको ही जाना था. So we were not even dressed. I was like in sneakers and like I was at the house for dinner. I didn't, your
Huh.
nightclub, you're slightly better dressed in Dubai nightclub Saturday night. And he also just wore some chappals or shoes, or we went there. So there was this beautiful nightclub. You could see rope laga hua tha, the. And typically what you see in movies now, two these hot Russian women entered, and that guy just opened the rope and they went inside. और बाकी सब line में खड़े थे. So you think चल तेरे को देखना अंदर से. I said नहीं छोड़ना यार, we are not. अरे चल ना. He goes inside, forgets the rope. He goes to those two of those Russian big guys, And this guy, yes, he's saying, we want to see my friend has come from India, I want to show him the club. No, sir, you have to have a reservation. Do you have a reservation? Yeah, get in the queue. We'll let you know if it's too much rush right now. When people leave, we'll let you know. It's a tick track. He came out, phone उठाया. अरे सुरेश भाई हमें तुम्हारे क्लब ना नीचे बैठे छे. Something it was owned by a bloody Gujarati. He's saying, कौन छे डोरमा? Then he's saying, what's your name? He's saying, Boris. Boris छे डोरमा. अच्छा, okay. Kept the phone, 2 minutes, Boris gets a call. He's saying, oh, so sorry, sir, please come in. We go in bloody sneakers. Entire fucking 3-4 club is owned by some Gujarati guy from India.
Damn.
We went in like rock stars, and because we were there, that manager came down. Come, sir, we'll show you. Can I offer you a drink? Can you do this? So beautiful. Things have changed. Indians are owning a lot of things. It was such a proud moment for me in a way that.
And Dubai में chill कर रहे हैं.
A lot of these new nightclubs and in Dubai and in London and in New York are owned by Indians. They funded them. So because we are good investors. So so that was a great moment for me.
Amazing. Anything in particular we were talking about comedy being taught in India and creative writing and all of that. When you're performing a corporate show, how's the scene any different than a regular show?
Oh, it's very different. Corporate show, you do it for the money.
What are some of the don'ts that they tell you?
Just now before coming, I was on a call with a potential corporate client, and like all of them. So first of all, see, I am from a corporate line. I understand corporate. I've been 25 years. I was in the end I was the CEO of a company, so I understand corporate. I understand how they think and things like that. So one is definitely, it's corporate shows, you do it for the money. Everywhere. Rock bands, musicians, singers, everybody makes money on corporate shows because they pay, right? Public shows can be a hit, could be a miss, but corporate shows, they pay for your family, for your bills. So, and most corporate shows will say, don't do jokes on sex, no bad words, no religion jokes, I thought don't do only anyway, no political jokes, that also I don't do. This, like no, ekdam kafi no aate, And one other rule in corporate comedy, you don't interact with the front row. Because क्या होता है, when I'm performing in a comedy show, at a public show, you have paid money to come and watch me. Like yesterday I was performing in a comedy club, they had paid $500 to come and watch me. Now they are sitting amongst strangers, and there they want you to talk to the front row, have fun and things like that. And it all ends there. रात खत्म, उधर गए, सब घर गए, भूल गए वो लोग, Corporate में क्या है ना, relationships are found. कोई CEO बैठा है, तुम्हारा client बैठा है, तुम्हारा board member बैठा है उधर. Sorry. And क्या होता है that if I make jokes on them, no, I do not know them, so I will search for jokes. Hey sir, hi, what's your name? Are you married? Yes. How many years? Okay. Where's your wife? Oh, she's not there. And they'll say, where is she gone? You just say, where is she gone, and just pause. People will start laughing, which means I'm saying that she's gone with somebody else. I've not said that, but I sort of mean it. But audience starts laughing. अभी वो क्या है ना, 500 साल का वो भी हंसेगा, हाँ क्या joke मारा. लेकिन somewhere down the line, you have told him that your wife is with somebody else. Maybe. Right. Okay. Or you say where she's gone to her mother's house. सब ठीक तो है ना sir? कितने साल हो गए अपनी शादी को? No, I'm going after him. I'm going after, trying to dig out jokes. वो बेचारा भी he's with me, but he's laughing in front of his 300 employees. Right. But once he goes back, वो रात को सोएगा नहीं कि सब मेरे पे हंस रहे थे. Because egos are very fragile in corporate. So corporates, you don't interact with the front row. You do very clean set, and you do nice,
like prepared sets you do. You don't really do.
No, you don't do too much. Little bit improv you do.
Interaction थोड़ा बहुत चलता है.
थोड़ा बहुत fun, but you have to be very careful that it doesn't go south at any time.
Has it happened with you before?
No.
Corporates में?
Anything wrong?
Yeah.
I didn't have a very funny incident that happened. Yeah. I was hosting an event, so I also host events. So it was an award ceremony. Okay. It was slightly dark.
Go for it.
Yeah, it was an award ceremony. It was a automobile, कुछ auto awards थे, auto expo ऐसा कुछ था. So, and they told me right in the beginning, the host told me कि बहुत awards है, तो सर जरा फटाफट करना, you know, see that the pace is fast, you know. So I was saying, okay, the next award goes to so and so company, and so big 400-500 लोग बैठे थे, you know. तो पहले मैंने बोला तुम्हें जल्दी जल्दी करना है, जो winners हैं उनको आगे बिठाओ. बोला नहीं सर वो तो नहीं बैठा, जहाँ जहाँ बैठे अभी है. तो some guy coming from bloody half a kilometer away, अरे सर come on run sir, आपको award मिला है, come on everybody clap, let him run. तो I was, because they had told me कि time बहुत कम है, हमको फटाफट एक मिनट में, और award पे पता नहीं 100-150 awards थे, you know.
Yeah.
Then there was this one, then the next award goes to so and so from this industries, and I could see that guy coming, walking very slowly. I said, sir, come on, run, sir, come on. What are you doing? Buck up, bhago, sir, you have feet. And he came, he was like paralyzed.
Oh.
So he was like, two people were holding him in that, you know. And I was, you know. And apparently that entire company is run by, you know, these specially able people. And they should have told me, na. बताया नहीं. और मैं उसको बोला, suddenly the audience is a bloody of a guy making fun at, you know, special able people. Obviously then I recovered myself, you know. I said,
and they didn't tell you?
They didn't tell me कि boss यहाँ be careful.
Yeah.
You know, and then you know, and then I did one more bad thing. He was walking up the stairs, so I went to help him. And these people don't like. They said, no, don't help me. So again, the audience, suddenly I lost the audience. ये साला अपने आप को बहुत बड़ा समझ रहा है, you know, can't bloody so unempathetic towards these people. I couldn't see, because on stage you have to realize there's so many lights on you, you can't see the audience.
Right.
You can just see silhouettes. You can see, you have to do like this and see things like that, you know. So that's one other corporate show which I had, there was a debacle for me, was I remember it was in Gurgaon. I went there, and usually before a corporate show, you have a con call with the client. क्या है, who's your audience, कितने female, कितने male, demographics क्या है, all that we were going around, and for some reason I was busy, they were busy, वो con call हुआ ही नहीं. बोला सर आप शो पे आ जाना, आधे घंटे पहले मैं आपसे ओनर द एजेंसी इन्वॉल्व, आपको बॉस से बात करा लूँगा, आप समझ लेना. I reached there half an hour before the show. I see that all the audience is there, and they're all from China, Vietnam, you know, Indonesia, all these Southeast Asian countries. And I can, you know, as a guy, ये लोग इंग्लिश बात करते हैं कि नहीं? बोलते नहीं सर, 2 जन सिंगापुर से है, उनको इंग्लिश आती है, बाकी किसको इंग्लिश आती नहीं है. तो ऐसे जो तुम्हारी सुबह से शाम को थी, क्या कर रहे थे तुम लोग कॉन्फ्रेंस में? बोलते तभी, बिकॉज वी डिड इट इन दिल्ली, बिकॉज दिल्ली में ट्रांसलेटर्स मिलते हैं, तो हर एक ट्रांसलेटर आए थे. चाइनीज़ के साथ चाइनीज़ ट्रांसलेटर बैठा था, वियतनामी के साथ वियतनामीज ट्रांसलेटर बैठा था, कंबोडिया के साथ यही बैठा था, इसके साथ था. मैंने बोला अभी बोलते ट्रांसलेटर तो चले गए, उनका तो अभी तो बिजनेस अभी ख़त्म, अभी तो ये हमारा फन एंटरटेनमेंट है. तो मतलब मैं क्या बात करूँगा. और इंडियंस क्या था, बिकॉज इट फॉरेनर्स काफ़ी थे, तो उन्होंने इंडियन जो अपनी कंपनी थी उसको भी लोग कर्टेल किए थे.
अच्छा.
उनके मतलब खुद के कंपनी के भी 8-10 जन थे, डायरेक्टर, उसकी वाइफ, 2-3 सीनियर पीपल वही थे. एंड फुल ऑफ दिस गाइज हु डोंट स्पीक इंग्लिश. ओके, तो मैंने बोला मैं क्या करूँगा. देन देर कैसे करें, हाँ सर इनको तो इंग्लिश आती नहीं है. तो ऐसे यार यू शुड हैव भरतनाट्यम, कथकली, ये अपने इंडिया में कितने अच्छे अच्छे डांस फॉर्म्स हैं, इनको ये दिखाओ, भंगड़ा दिखाओ, ये दिखाओ. दे विल, ये मैं अभी आधा घंटा क्या कॉमेडी करूँगा इनसे. मतलब such a stupid thing.
Yeah, very simple thing also. I mean
when the English only they cannot understand.
Then why
तो
they
फिर मैं गया उधर, and I was dying on stage. वो जो Singaporeans थे, जो
हमारे Indians थे, like there were no translators.
I have been paid for it, ना. Instead of 30 minutes, I would have done 20. And just say, where are you from, sir? वो सुन ही नहीं रहे, looking at me, sir, hello, where are you from? फिर उसको बाजू वाला बोल रहा है, Vietnam. Okay, are you married, sir? And then it's getting very awkward because कोई समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. Then you move on. Okay, where are the people from Singapore? Singapore जाके 5 मिनट उसके jokes किए, Indian लोगों से थोड़ा बात किया, ये. Then you do all these things. But it was a disaster for me.
Yeah.
You know, obviously nobody laughed. There were no jokes over there.
ये तो. Then how do you sort of deal with all this?
Usually when
like post show?
Nothing. Just go home. Just go up to the room.
That's
drink.
it.
As I would say, चुपचाप. Cut it, please cut this.
Nothing is getting cut. Damn. But
yeah, so these things, I'm sure all comedians have these bad nights of comedy, you know, like, yeah.
What's the largest audience you've catered to so far?
I think I'd done some show. It was a multi-comedian show. I think there was some 4,500-5,000 people were there.
Where was this?
So it was many years back, before the pandemic. I think it was in Bangalore or Pune. You know, it was not a festival. It was one of these nights where it was me, Zakir, Kenny. It was a very strong lineup, and we got in a lot of people. And the organizers had done a great job of selling tickets and things. A lot of college students. पूरा भरा हुआ था. It was like out in the fields with LED screens and things like that. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I want to quickly segue into something जो मेरे दिमाग में अभी आ रहा है. I don't know. I've written like a couple of questions, but I don't think I've asked any.
देख ले.
तो ठीक है, कोई नहीं. मेरे दिमाग में आ रहा है कि initially when people started off in terms of comedy, like you were one of the first few people who started off comedy in India, and then Veer Das and all these other people.
Yeah.
उनको limelight में आने में या फटने में, because the comedy scene essentially was growing, so you would have taken a little longer than other people who took much lesser time to sort of boom. I think for Upmanyu happened very quickly, for Bassi even more quickly. So is there who's the quickest you've seen blow up in the comedy space?
So she
or maybe
no. So you are, for example, you said Abhishek Upamanyu, or you
Right.
said, let's see, Bassi, for example. Bassi, I think he blew up with that one video about that hair removal, right? That was that one waxing ka. But you don't know that Bassi has been doing comedy for maybe for 2 years before that. You never knew Bassi. It's just that
Right.
one video which jo fata, due to which people knew him, and then people discovered him, and more people started liking him, and things like that. So it's you have to understand that there's a lot of hard work which has gone behind.
yeah.
Like I remember there's a comedian Gaurav Kapoor. He's from Delhi, very
Right.
funny guy, a friend
Right.
of mine. He used to do open mic. I remember he had come for my OP. He was opening for my open mic. He was opening for one of my shows in Bombay, and he was heckled off stage. I went and corrected that later on. But I'm just saying that now people do not know the hard work which has gone through people's journey. My video just जहाँ से मैं काफी ज़्यादा popular was my Justin Bieber video,
Right.
which was in 2017.
It's one of the funniest sets I've ever seen.
Yeah,
to
so
be
2017 was that video I came out with. But I've been doing comedy since 2012. So I was 5 years into. So you don't know a lot of people's hard work which has gone. Zakir has been doing comedy since 2011, if I'm not wrong, 2010, 2011. Which is now and then the last few years where Zakir performed recently at the Royal Albert Hall.
Right.
6,000 people in
Right.
London.
Right.
People who performed this like Lata Mangeshkar and maybe Pandit Zakir Hussain and Allah Rakha. These kind of people they don't even give it out to this. Zakir performed there. So but Zakir has been doing, so people don't understand what has gone behind. Like I've seen Bassi before that also in Delhi performing in open, like some shows here and there.
Got
Is
it.
that one video after you would have done it many a times, chiseled the set, gone and performed in a good audience, recorded it, put it out. In fact, when he recorded that first video, I was there in the audience. I was in Delhi for a corporate show. Then I went to see the show.
Okay.
And I just went to the comedy club. It was that Canvas Club, which was in Delhi. People and Company it was called. I went there. It was Akash Gupta was there. I was there. I was in the audience, and that was the time they were recording the set, And that video, say, Bassi fat gaya. So I use the word, he exploded with that. So but you have to understand a lot of hard work goes. So I wouldn't say that it's not that a person just went on stage today for the first time, second time, third time. There's no this. I wouldn't say there are prodigies in this, because this line is such that it takes time.
So you started in 2012. 16 is when you quit your corporate full time and entered into comedy full time. This will be important for somebody who wants to enter into the comedy space eventually full time as a profession. When does money start flowing in?
It could take a lot of time. Like I remember back then it was slightly easier because comedy was new into. So I did my first open mic 2012, 3rd Feb. I got my first payment for comedy would have been somewhere in, not bad, but somewhere in, I would say, September, October.
Okay.
Yeah. First, उसके पहले तो you keep on doing these free shows and
And
open
how
mics
much,
and
if you're comfortable sharing, how
so
much
that
was
time
your
I had
first paid gig
I
for?
got 7,000 rupees
For one gig.
for one gig. I got 7,000 rupees. Yeah. मैंने तो अच्छा इसमें पैसे भी है, like
So this you realized later on?
So I remember one show which I did. I remember it was like some comedian called up, I'm putting up the show. Are you free? Can you come and do? I said, हाँ. So we went. There were 3 comedians. We did. It was like in some pub only, but it was like sold out. था 200-300 लोग थे, whatever. And हम show करके घर चले गए. The next day called up. After 2 days called up. क्या कर रहा है? I'm outside the house. Come down. I went down. I said पता नहीं क्या काम होगा. He gave me an envelope. I said क्या है? बोलते वो शो के पैसे. I said किसके लिए? इसी नहीं वो जो भी था जितने लोग आए थे half the club took, half we are splitting amongst all the community. कुछ 2-3-4 हज़ार थे पता नहीं. I said अरे पैसे भी हैं. Like I didn't know that. So then after that I started doing these small rotary shows. किसका birthday party हुआ, Lions Club, ये वो छोटे-छोटे.
Do you have any funny private show stories?
Oh, you come on stage, I have a full set on it. Yeah.
Can you share a couple of them?
Yeah, like I remember once I did a show. It was some kid's 5th birthday or 6th birthday.
Yeah.
It was in some like a very good banquet hall. So it was like some rich couple. बेटे का 5th birthday था, but they are having this grand party. तो बच्चे भी थे, parents भी थे. तो obviously I was performing to the parents, and I'm on stage. And these guys, these boys, naughty boys, decided to play hide and seek. And honestly, while I was performing, they used me as a pillar. Pillar नहीं था तो मैं जो ये देख रहे बड़ी मोटे जांघें हैं. And that kid, while I'm performing, is behind me like 1, 2, 3, 5. I kid you not,
This is happening while you're performing.
While I am performing, and I can't even slap the guy. It was his birthday, So, there are many stories. All of us, comedians sit together. We can write like hours of. You'll die laughing. क्या hota humse, I got hired at a show, and that guy knows me. He knows my comedy. He's a fan of mine. And while I'm performing, and people are okay, laughing. Thoda boy comes on stage, comes to the stage. He's sitting in the front row, comes on stage, saying, he's saying, sir, इसमें कुछ English समझ नहीं आ रहा, सब हिंदी में करो. So I'm telling him, sir, मैं हिंदी में अपने jokes अभी बैठ के यहाँ convert नहीं कर सकता हूँ. पहले, like this is a conversation which you're having while I'm on stage.
In the middle of the show.
In the middle of the show, इसी नहीं कोशिश तो करो ना. Then they say, अरे हो जाएगा, करो ना आप. So obviously, whatever little bit I did. But these are lot of these things you have, And but that's what makes you stronger. I performed. I remember like people ask me like that day I did a show where I did a show in Paris. I was performing in this Europe tour, and Paris anyway has a small Indian population and a smaller comedy loving audience. तो कुछ I think 50-60 जने थे show में, And that guy had called me, sir, 60 people are there and things like that. I said, no problem, dude. I have performed, I'm not joking, for 5 people in Pune once, in Starbucks. कुछ show था Starbucks का, तभी था. It was badly curated. पता नहीं लोगों को पता ही नहीं था या क्या था. And I went there. There were like 2 people who had come to watch me. तो बाकी 3 थे. One was a sound guy, one was a light guy, one was a speaker guy. कि खत्म कर तो हम अपना सामान लेके जाएंगे. It was like that. वो 3 सुन रहे थे. I was performing to 2 people.
But how do you perform to 2 people?
You perform and you have fun. In fact, I did 45 minutes for those 2 people.
What are you saying?
Yeah, I have performed like all of us. Initially, जब भी comedy club में होता था, used to get sometimes 6
people. This was which year?
7 people, huh?
This was which year?
This would have paid maybe like 2 paid people.
Yeah, 2 paid people and 3 unpaid.
3 unpaid
audience.
People, yeah. And it was I'll tell you maybe the year 2014, 2015. Yeah, 2014, 2015.
Wow.
It was in Starbucks in Amonara, I remember.
So performing in front of 2 people.
Parsi couple थे. I still remember their faces. Like I'm in love with them. They paid and came because they saw some midday ad and they paid and they came. बाकी लोगों तो आए नहीं थे. There were some other people just sitting having coffee, not interested in comedy. But there was one area secluded. These just 2 people I was performing to. And I've gone all the way from Bombay.
Yeah.
So this like that we have had. I remember at the comedy store also sometimes we are performing for 6 people. Some bad night, in terms of there's something big happening, like a Ganesh Chaturthi happening. It's such a big festival in Bombay.
Right.
तुम comedy show करोगे कौन आएगा देखने को? Everybody's got Ganpati in their houses, तुम कुछ था I remember 6 जन थे audience में.
How do you come back home performing to maybe 2 people or 6 people or 10 people?
Sometimes if the show is good, you can't sleep at night. That you feel so good about it.
Okay.
See, I'll tell you what, finally at the end of it, because a lot of people are there, maybe you are a singer, maybe you're a dancer, maybe you're a performer, maybe a comedian or a poet. You get good nights, you get bad nights. But it's very important to convince yourself. The hard part is convincing yourself. अगर तुम पहले ही जाके बोलोगे यार तो बेकार शो होने वाला है, 2 जन में मैं क्या करूँगा 2 जन में, क्या करूँगा ये वो, and you will feel that you are shooting yourself in the foot. You'll go and you'll bomb. But if you convince yourself before the show, okay, I'm going to have fun. Those 2 people are going to have we are here, they are here, there's no way out. 30 minutes I have to go on stage, I have to entertain them.
Yeah.
No, might as well give your best and have fun,
So you were on the Raj Sharma.
Yeah. So there was this comedian from America, his name is Raj Sharma, Indian but based in America, doing comedy for many years, and he's an expert at crowd work. set है उसका, but mainly it does crowd work, you know. And for crowd work generally you require more people in the audience. And I remember once कोई ऐसे basement कहाँ एक छोटा pub था या something, I don't remember the place, अंधेरी में था. We went and there were just 6 people, जिसमें से 3 थे comedians. तो usually comedians और 3 और comedians से बात नहीं करते, because you know them, they are friends. So he knew I was a comedian, there was another comedian he knew. Now basically which means there are 3 or 4 people in the audience he can talk to. You know, and I was when, you know, we were feeling bad, इतना बड़ा comedian आया है, खाली साला 6 जन हम लोग पूरे audience में. It was a 150 seater में, खाली 6 जन बैठे हैं.
Okay.
But he did comedy for 2 hours, and I'm not joking. At the end of it, you know, he got a standing ovation. You know, because so that's the master. He was talking, he was going deeper, talking, linking one to the other. Started talking to us also. Started talking about the room. You know, so he made jokes. He must have made at least 20-minute jokes just on that bloody room. You know, it was in the basement. It was like, you know, there were some pictures over there. So his observation skills were so good that now through the audience he was talking, making jokes about the bloody room, about the furniture. You know, that's the, you know, the you have to learn so much here. You know, from some of these guys. I remember another set. I remember there was a Hong Kong man was performing. It was a festival. So there are like comedians, lot of comedians, and there was a competition tha. So what happened at the end of the competition, the judges have to do some scoring. तो खत्म हो गया. It was a 2-hour comedy show, packed room, and now the judges have to formulate the scores. So they told that guy, just go for 2 minutes. अभी judge 2 मिनट में आपको score दे रहे हैं. Then we'll announce the winner. But वो कुछ scores में गड़बड़ हो गया, कुछ sheets misplaced हो गई, and that scoring process went for like 30 minutes.
Oh.
And that comedian को बार बार go, keep on going till they don't show you the red light. There's a red light, you know, there's an indication. Keep on going. That guy for 30 minutes at the end of a 2-hour exhausted room, like you've taken away every laugh out of them, he went and bloody killed it and took it to a different level just by just interacting with them and making jokes and things like that, you know. And that's when you realize, because you feel as a comedian, यार अभी 2 घंटे लोग हंसे हैं, 15 of the best comedians had given their best 10 minutes. They have sucked out all the laughter out of them. And now further going and doing 30 minutes as a host, you learn a lot. And
is there some special preparation required to maybe pull off that
it's just pure experience. It's your thing. And again, he knew he had 30 minutes. He has to kill that 30 minutes, you know. You can just say, fuck off here, I am not prepared for this yet. Tum log, you know, start the bar, put on the music, start the lights, the audience will be waiting for 30 minutes. But no, he didn't. The show has to go on in a way, you know. Audience should not feel that there is a delay happening there because of some reason, you know. They thought it's a part of the act.
Right.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Another, I think this is like a masterclass in comedy. This episode is turning out to be like a masterclass in comedy. But I'm sure one of the things that I am majorly interested in कि लोग बड़ा ये बोलते हैं ना कि clean comedy versus एक दो गाली दे दो तो joke funny हो जाते हैं. What's your take on that?
नहीं, गाली देने से joke funny नहीं होता है. You can't use गाली as a punch. एक ज़माने में maybe 10 साल पहले आप स्टेज पे कुछ ने BC बोल दिया, MC बोल दिया, लोग हंसते थे, अरे यार क्या बोला उसने. आज भी नहीं हंसते. Your joke has to be funny. You know, people don't laugh. You can't use bad word as a punch. A joke has to be a punch. Now, as far as bad words is concerned, क्योंकि मैं भी देता हूँ अपने शो पे, it is more of an expression. It's like two friends talking. अभी मैंने यहाँ बात में 1-2 टाइम भैंचोद बोल दिया. It's just two friends talking to each other. You know, because I get this feedback a lot from parents, from kids, from like critics. कि बस you give bad words पर लगती नहीं कान को. It feels like a friend is talking. We don't even feel that you gave bad words, you know. But you have to understand that there are some words you have to be careful about. And I said the L word, they're strong, very harsh words, you know. Words like the C word, like truth is a very, you know, I will not say it on stage ever, you know. I'll say bhanjot, I will say, but I'll not say, you know, like that's one thing. And secondly is you can talk about adult topics, you know. So I don't say I do clean comedy. I talk about sex. I talk about threesomes. I talk about orgies, you know. They are not vulgar, but you talk about them. You know what I'm saying is. There's some comedians who don't talk about it. It's fine. It's their thing, you know. I get this thing that we can't get your children for your show because you talk about adult stuff. I said, how old is your child? He's 16 years old. Well, your kid at 16 bloody knows more than you. You know about these things. Te kuch bencho sikhayega aur char cheezein. So you're not getting a 16-year-old kid thinking he's not knowing it. Plus he's sitting at home on his phone. what is he bloody doing on his phone? You bloody expose the entire world to. I mean, so sometimes parents are living in a very different world. You know, sorry, I couldn't get my 16-year-old. My husband couldn't come because I said, why? Because we have a child at home. I was like that. I said, how old is the child? He's 16 years old. I said, you can got a kid also. No. How can you get a 16-year-old for a show? I said, why not? You know, no. You talk about all this adult stuff. I said, you think he doesn't know? You know, so parents have to be slightly aware. If you're living under a rock,
how's your relationship with your daughters?
I think it's pretty cool. It's okay. You know, I mean, right from beginning, we've tried to keep a fairly open, relationship with them. Like, yeah, I think it's a very healthy relationship. Like when they had their first boyfriend, they told us about it. When they had their first smoke, when they smoked up, also they told us about it. You know, and you have to understand, kids will do that. I did it. I'm 55, so I was in 10th standard in. I was in 8th standard in 1981. Most of you must not be born there. I tried my first cigarette when I was in 8th standard. I'm a Bombay boy, you know, as most Bombay kids would do that, you know. तलब होती है कि सिगरेट में है क्या, you know, it's an adult thing. At that time you're growing up, you know. I remember किसका पता नहीं किसके भाई के फ्रेंड के भाई के कवर्ड में सिगरेट का पैकेट मिला, उसने 2 सिगरेट चोरी किए, मेरे घर पे आए, चलो मेरे को टेरेस जाके स्मोक करते. सबने किया होगा, आपने ऑप्शन ने किया और नहीं, आई डोंट नो. बियर, मैंने फर्स्ट बियर पी व्हेन आई वाज इन 10th स्टैंडर्ड. कोई फ्रेंड के घर पे, पता नहीं बाप के वो पेरेंट्स अब्रॉड गए थे. आई रिमेंबर इट वाज अ जापानीज बियर कॉल्ड आसाही. अभी भी है वो ब्रांड. तो पेरेंट्स वर नॉट देयर, उसके फ्रिज में मिली, वो छुपा के. एंड शी वाज अ गर्ल, शी गॉट इट. एंड आई रिमेंबर 31st पार्टी थी, एंड 31st न्यू ईयर्स ईव की पार्टी थी, एंड ऑल किड्स पार्टी थी. तभी 10th स्टैंडर्ड, तो वी आर व्हाटएवर एज वी आर. And we all going in some corner, opening that one can of beer, taking sips, and thinking that we'll be blown, and dam maro, dam charo, kuch hua hi nahi sala. All of us done that, yeah. Right. You smoked. I smoked up when I was in engineering college. You tried it. I never liked it. I tried cigarette, but I am not a smoker. I drank, but I am not a drinker. Then finally, the choices you make, whether you like. So it's important for your children to taste it. Whether it's with you, out, wo to karega hi. That you have to understand. So if you're the strict conservative parent, you have to understand the world is changing. As we are speaking today, the Supreme Court is discussing. I was just seeing through Twitter just 10 minutes back about same-sex marriage. Mostly it will get, maybe as we are speaking, Supreme Court ka case chal raha hai. I don't know kya hai hearing, but same-sex marriages would be legalized. So tomorrow if a child comes out and says, hey, I'm gay, you have to, I know maybe difficult on you, but you have to accept it. You have to support your child. In that you can't go against your child for sake of some freaking relatives or some world, and this is your child, yeah. Like I tell people, like people tell me, what if your daughter is a lesbian and this and that? I said, that's the easy part, but if my daughter has to link a Aadhaar with a PAN card, that's the fucking difficult part. Try doing it. There are other serious issues out there. These are very small issues. I said there's a beautiful word in Marathi called tras. बच्चों को प्लीज़ त्रास मत दो यार. बहुत अलग चीज़ें हैं चल रही है. You've been through life. Take that tras on yourself. Don't give them tras. When it comes to studies, don't pressurize them studies. Both my kids, I didn't pressurize them studies. They found their calling. One is a sports fitness, nutrition expert. One is a psychologist. They both found their calling at some stage in life where they knew, okay, this is what I want to do. बट इफ यू प्रेशराइज करोगे, नहीं डॉक्टर बनना है, इंजीनियर बनना है, ये करना है, लॉयर बनना है, नहीं यार. टुडे किड्स आर स्मार्ट इनफ टू नो. एंड टुडे आजकल बच्चों को मैं देख रहा हूँ, आई मीन आई हैव रिलेटिव्स एंड ऑल, एट द एज ऑफ 12 द किड सेज 12th birthday I need a phone. You give a phone with a bloody 4G connectivity and now maybe 5G connectivity, and then expect them not to know about the world, and they are smart. The world, this phone has really changed things.
Right. Coming to phone, do you take Instagram very seriously in terms of posting content or staying relevant?
Obviously, I take it seriously, just like I take any other platform. So you have there's X or Twitter, there is Facebook, there is Instagram, there is Snapchat. As performers, as comedians, as people, you have to reach out to your fans, and these are great platforms because you have to understand kids are not watching TV, nobody's reading newspaper, so those forms of advertisement there will not work. So you have to just, because it's if you're my fan, you need to know if I'm performing in your city, right, and Instagram is a great way to do it. I take it seriously, but I don't take it as a pressure कि आज यार content डालना है, content डालना है.
Do you look
so we are not content creators.
Again, I was coming to that. Do you call yourself an influencer now?
No, I wouldn't say, yaar. I would say influencer more in terms of because I'm slightly old. I mean, as comedians, we are influencers. What we say on stage can influence people. You know,
Right.
our opinion can influence people. You know, if I go and say that smoking is bad, it's bad for your lungs. You know, drinking is, you know, bad for your liver. You know, sex is amazing for your body. You know, so, so, so if I go and say that, I mean, I vehemently mean that I don't smoke, so I don't promote smoking. Like, you know,
Right.
like I hate this vaping culture because I read about it. You're intelligent, you read about it, that it's more harmful to your lungs than maybe a cigarette, you know. So I'm saying we are, but I wouldn't say we are content creators because you have to realize it, at least most comedians, we have an art form. See, there one is a content creator who's continuously creating reels on Instagram. So a lot of them were on TikTok earlier. क्या हो गया वन डे टिकटॉक सडनली शट डाउन यू नो मोदी जी ने बोला चाइना के साथ लड़ाई करनी है टिकटॉक बंद करो ओवरनाइट टिकटॉक वाज शट you know lot of people committed suicide.
Yeah.
There were people in these
Yeah.
villages in small towns who are making a lot of money selling brands.
Right.
So I always tell you should have some art form which is beyond. It should be you are not depending on the platform. तो कल इंस्टाग्राम बंद हो जाए टिकटॉक बंद हो जाए मेरा तो शो चालू होगा because I have a art where I can go on stage to make people laugh, you know.
Correct.
So that's why what has happened, a lot of these content creators, Instagram influencers, young girls, you know, they become fashion experts, they become beauty experts. कल साला बंद भी हो जाए, at least they can go to somebody's house and do makeup or bridal makeup for somebody's wedding, you know.
So you think it's important
To have
for
a
people
thing,
to,
because-
apart from social.
Yeah, there should be something to your life than just because just think that I always believe you should not be relying on, this is not in your control, right? TikTok was not in your control.
TikTok ban हो गया,
बैन हो
correct.
गया, कल Instagram बैन हो सकता है, तो
अरे
कोई
मत
लड़ाई हो
बोलो
जाए,
ऐसा।
कुछ हो जाए, कुछ बैन हो सकता है, you know.
Right.
YouTube कल can tell say we want to start charging watching content. लोग भी say I don't want to pay. तो क्या होगा, your just followers just fall because free था तो देख रहे थे, नहीं देख रहे तो अभी people say I don't want to pay for you.
Right.
As long as you're free, you're interesting.
Right.
As long as you pay $5 for you, false I don't care for you.
क्योंकि ये हर जगह है ना, राइट? इंडिया में तो पेइंग ऑडियंस वर्सेस फ्री ऑडियंस. फ्री ऑफ कोर्स इज, आई मीन, probably 99.9% of the audience
Yeah.
who enjoys free content. जहाँ भी देखो.
Everybody enjoys a free meal.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least in comedy, I've right from beginning telling people that you have to vote because people say ना रे यार घर पे आए हो चलो कर लो कुछ, ऐसे नहीं यार, ऐसे यहाँ फ्री में क्या आप हंसोगे ही नहीं, या पैसा देते हो ना आप ज़्यादा हंसोगे क्योंकि यू ऑलरेडी इन्वेस्टेड इट.
आपने किया कभी फूक के परफॉर्म?
नहीं मैं नहीं, आई डोंट स्मोक अप. वो जब भी कॉलेज में एकदम ट्राई करने आई डोंट स्मोक. आई एम नॉट अ बिग फैन ऑफ ऑल दिस. एंड इनफैक्ट वन ऑफ द रूल्स इन कॉमेडी सिंस देयर आर पीपल वाचिंग कॉमेडी, एक बहुत मिथ होता है कि माल फूक के जाओ, दारू पी के जाओ, विल बी फनी. ऑनेस्टली दैट्स इफ यू रीड you know all the biggies in the comedy, never drink, never smoke up and go on stage because you will forget your set, you will goof up and you will fall like this, you know. And people say कि हम चूतिए हैं, you know, $200 की टिकट लेके आ रहे हैं, this guy is just blabbering on stage, doesn't know what he's talking, you know. And आजकल सोशल मीडिया तो ऐसा है, तो 2 मिनट में पकड़ा जाएगा, you know, people will come to know,
Right.
when people are there just to pull you down, you know. But as a rule, because we are performing for 90 minutes, we are performing for, you know, 120 minutes on stage. Everything matters, how you are saying.
right.
कभी callbacks होते हैं. अब तुम दारू पी के गए, माल फूक के गए, you forget
भूल ही
the
गए,
callback.
callback ही
तुम
भूल
चला तुम sets भूल जाओगे. And then on the stage, you will be bloody shitting on stage because now you have lost your rhythm. तो I तो never drink water always. You know. And as Bachchan Saab says, always check your zipper before you go on stage. Yeah.
Awesome. I'll call you Atul?
Yeah,
Atul?
please call me Atul. Yeah.
Atul, it's been a fantastic episode here. I think it's been like a masterclass in comedy. I think we've touched upon like right from the basics of what essentially comedy
Just
is.
sharing
how
my experiences with you.
yeah, I mean, I think it's been fantastic. Anything that you want to, any shows that's coming up that you want to talk about?
When will this be on air?
In a couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks, I don't know. So no, yeah, I mean, just follow me on Instagram because that's where I put up my shows. I have my website atulkhatri.com. Just go there. Shows are there. I'm now writing a new set, and maybe in 2024 I'll be visiting your cities and, you know, and your countries and coming and performing there. But yeah, I'll be definitely before that also I'll be performing in the cities. Just watch out, come and watch, and always watch live stand-up comedy. घर पे बैठ के मत देखो because till today I get very annoyed जब मैं stage पे जाता हूँ. How many of you watching live comedy for the first time? Till today half the room puts up the hand. So वो if you love comedy, बिल्कुल. एक तुमको एक चीज़ बताऊंगा, you know, आपकी पिक्चर आप जाते हो फ्राइडे को, अच्छी हो नहीं अच्छी हो, it's a hit and miss. But a good curated comedy night always will give you, good 90 minutes, 2 hours of good content, so you will have a good time. It's a alternative, I would say, entertainment art form. Please support it because we need your support.
Awesome. चिल आवर पे आके आपको कैसा लगा? एकदम रॉ अनफिल्टर्ड
No, it was just like we friends talking. I'm in his living room, on his sofa, casually dressed, having coffee, just two friends talking. We could have met anywhere and spoken,
Yeah,
but now
yeah.
it's there on podcast. So yes, thank you, chill hour.
एक बार दीपक पारिक मेरे चैनल का नाम है, उनको सब्सक्राइब करने बोल दो. आप बोलोगे तो आपकी बात मान लेंगे, मेरी बात सुनते नहीं है लोग.
कौन सा दीपक?
दीपक पारिक इज माय नेम.
हाँ.
तो उस नाम का चैनल है हमारा यूट्यूब चैनल, वेयर द पॉडकास्ट विल गो लाइव.
Okay.
तो उन सब्सक्राइब करने बोल दो. मेरी बात मानते नहीं है, सुनते नहीं है.
Guys, please subscribe to अतुल खत्री का यूट्यूब चैनल है. बहुत अच्छे स्टैंड अप वीडियोस है. दीपक पारेख के पॉडकास्ट है. नहीं प्लीज मजाक करो. दीपक पारेख को सपोर्ट करो. गो एंड प्लीज सब्सक्राइब टू हिम एट द चिल आवर. And I've seen some of the podcasts before, and they're really fun with different personalities from different art forms and streams. So I think podcast is a great way to just learn from others, and
One final question before we let you go. Why did you say yes to the podcast?
Because I just enjoy talking to people, and my friend Gajraj also had done it, so I thought, गजराज जी ने किया होगा, कुछ अच्छा ही किया होगा. तो क्या बोलते हैं ना,
मेरे लिए नहीं है.
नहीं तो मैं तुमको बताता हूँ. पहले जब भी आपको यूएई जाना पड़ता था ना, दुबई जाना होता था, दुबई का वीज़ा लगता था. लेकिन दुबई ने क्या कर दिया अभी कुछ सालों से, इफ़ यू हैव एन अमेरिकन वीज़ा यू कैन एंटर दुबई. तो उन्होंने अपना गंदा काम अमेरिकन वीज़ा को दे दिया है.
समझ गया.
So same गजराज जी ने किया, ऐसे चलो उनकी अथॉरिटी मिल गई, मैं भी जाके कर सकता हूँ.
Gajraj sir was all praises for you.
No, he's a
on the
beautiful gentleman, and I love his acting, and more than acting, he's a beautiful human being, so that's
Awesome. Thank you so much, Atul,
thank you
for being
Deepak,
on the
thank
show.
you so much. Subscribe to the chill hour, guys.
Thank you so much, guys. And अगर आप अभी तक देख रहे हो तो आपके पास भी, I'm assuming, बहुत टाइम है जिंदगी में, तो सब्सक्राइब कर देना. You know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, and you will obviously see Atul's social handles in the description. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tinder, Bumble, everything in the description. Go check him out, and drop a like, share the video around, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Till then, cheers. It's a wrap.